To some other stories now, the Volta region tops them all once again. Its Regional Coordinating Council has emerged #1 in the latest Local Government Service Performance Report. The monitoring and verification exercise was for the year 2020 based on the Local Government Services Performance Contract of 16 Regional Coordinating Councils and 260 Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies, MMDAs. My colleague Daniel Dazi has been going through the document and joins me in the studio with more. So Daniel, you've been going through this 337-page report. First, walk us through the objective of the exercise.
Bennett, first of all, it was to monitor and verify the annual performance of these regional coordinating councils and the metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies across the country. Now, this performance is really based on the annual performance evaluation report, which is derived from the performance management contract that the regional ministers sign with the regional coordinating directors, and the MMDCEs sign with the coordinating directors at the metros and the municipalities. It's also to gather feedback, really, for the performance contracts themselves.
And so run us through the rankings first for the regional coordinating council.
Okay, so let's begin with the regional coordinating councils as we ask. Like you said earlier, the Volta Region Coordinating Council topped them all. Felix B. Chaha, who's pardon me, I was reading from the top districts, pardon me, yes. But if you go to the regional coordinating councils, the best one is the Volta region. And the worst one, unfortunately, is the Western North region. And the OT region is the second worst one. So, of course, they looked at the best regions, the best performing regions, and the worst performing regions,
And there's also a breakdown for MMDAs.
Yes, the MMDAs, as I was mentioning earlier, from the Bono East region, in Kranza North is actually the best in the country. Yes, Chief Francis is the coordinating director there. Gan West here in the Greater Accra region. Ifija Kwabre North in the Ashanti region. Then there's Tema West in the Greater Accra region. Kwehu West, they gave 10. Kwehu West, Ladade Kotopon, Brim Central, Ablekuma West, Trifu, Eti Mokwa, and Kasena Nankana West in the Upper East region. So just a cursory glance, you see that 4 of the top 10 districts are from the Greater Accra region, 2 from the Eastern region, 1 from the Central region, 1 from the Bono East, and then 1 from the Upper East region.
Daniel Dazi there running us through some of the details of that report. Well, we've got the Volta Regional Minister Archibald Yao-Letcha to have a discussion on this. Also, Dr. Nana Atto-Arthur, who's the head of the Local Government Services, also is on. But we'll start with Dr. Archibald Letcha. What do you think worked for your Regional Coordinating Council?
Thank you very much. And good morning to all your viewers and listeners. I think what worked for us is the teamwork and supervision. They were the key indicators that worked for us. We set an agenda for ourselves as a team, and we signed a performance contract. I signed it with the coordinating director, and that became our Bible for us to work with. To make sure that we went according to all the key performance areas, and also looking at the key performance indicators, we made sure that we follow them as we had tasked ourselves to do.
And so you must be obviously really excited about this. But what's the future for the RCC in the Volta region? What more are you looking forward to doing?
What we're looking forward to doing is to make sure our assemblies perform better, because our first assembly happened to be number 59 on the at the national level, and it will be our goal this year, 2021, to make sure that at least 7 to 10 of our assemblies are in the top 50, or when the assessment of 2021 is done in 2022.
Yeah, you've been ranked the top regional coordinating council, but I'm sure there are some challenges that you're dealing with. Do you mind sharing any of those with us? Something that the regional coordinating council has been working on, but still not very successful at the moment.
Yeah, the challenges are generic. We have some challenges with resources to improve on our monitoring of the assemblies. We're supposed to do monitoring visits to the assemblies every quarter, and we do that religiously. And if we are able to get more resources, we'll be able to do much better.
When you say resources, what exactly do you mean?
In terms of, let's say, vehicles and financial resources, to be able to pay regular visits to the assembly, because our role as RCC is to monitor, evaluate, and supervise the district assemblies. So we should be paying very regular visits to them to make sure that they are doing what they are expected to do. That is very important.
All right, Dr. Lecha, I'll come back to you shortly. Please hang in there. And let me bring in head of the local government service, Dr. Nana Arthur, who's also on the program. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. First off, what kind of briefing did your team provide? For which reason the Volta Regional Coordinating Council placed at the top in this particular assessment?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me this morning. And let me take this opportunity to say hi to all your listeners. The Volta Regional Coordinating Council, as said by the regional minister, signed a performance contract. The regional minister signed a contract with the regional coordinating director representing the entire staff. This makes performance a shared responsibility. And there were 4 key performance areas: general administration, human resource management, financial management and reporting, and services. These are the 4 KPIs, the key performance areas. And within these key performance areas are key performance indicators. And as said by Dr. Lecha, under services, for instance, how many times did the RCC go to the assemblies by way of monitoring? They are supposed to be doing that once a quarter. So, because, they are role mainly for coordination, and if you don't monitor what's happening in the assemblies under the region, within the region, they'll find it very difficult to know what's going on there. And so these 4 areas were the areas, the KPIs that we use in actually evaluating the performance of the RCC.
All right.
And the Volta region happened to top, second first.
In your assessment, did you find that the regions that had more assemblies to cater for had greater challenges than others that didn't?
Well, that wouldn't be a criteria for the evaluation of the RCC.
Okay.
It will be for the MMDA herself, so that will not come into the RCC assessment.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question, because Dr. Lecha mentioned that moving forward, they would like to work at getting some of their MMDAs to come up in terms of performance and perform better in the assessment, because the first MMDA for the Volta region ranked 59, while the Volta region RCC ranked number 1. Yeah. Do I get a sense that this is not a cumulative?
That the minister talked about. I will agree with him. If there are more resources, then perhaps they will be able to also monitor the assembly, so that the assemblies under their jurisdiction, what they are not doing well as far as the performance contract indicators are concerned, then they'll bring them up.
Okay.
So that one, I agree with him.
Okay.
But it wouldn't actually be part of the criteria for the MMDA itself. I want to agree with Doc. When we talk about top 10, that will be actually recognizing them. Volta region is not there.
Yeah.
So I agree with Doc. But in general, when we were, so somebody will ask this question, why is it that the top temperature agent is not there?
Yes.
And Volta top?
And Doc, that was bringing me to my question about the performance of the MMDAs does not have an effect or an impact on the RCC. They are assessed independently.
Because let me give you this KPA. While the RCCs are 4, General Administration, HR, Financial Management Services, the MMDAs, they have 7.
Okay.
Because when you talk about KPA 6 under the MMDA, economic development, we are talking about local economic development. That is not a performance area, key performance area for the RCC. You understand? As we say, every development is local. At the local level, what is the assembly preparedness as far as local economic development is concerned? So that is for the MMDA, but not for the RCC.
And so what the MMDA's performance is does not have an impact on the general regional. All right.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But the impact of the RCC may trigger down to the MMDA. Like
Okay.
Doc said, if they had much more resources and they were regular in their monitoring, then maybe the assembly that was 59 could have done better. So I agree with Doc when it comes to that area of resource.
All right, quickly on this. So are we just doing the assessment for assessment's sake, or there is some reward given to the best performing Regional Coordinating Council and MMDA?
Yeah, reward.
Okay.
Regional Coordinating Council, this is the first time we are assessing them. And so we've not done their award before. But for MMDA, we give them awards. Last year, for instance, at Skoremampo in Ashanti Region Top, we gave them laptop, tabletop, printers, something that will help them, work better. We also had a kind of a program that paid trips for workshops, for training programs, and also recognition to the staff. For instance, if today JICA is organizing a program for us and JICA writes to me for 2 or 3 nominations, then we'll consider this assembly that has done well in a way to motivate the staff of the assembly to perform better.
Okay, and what happens? Please.
The last thing, there will also be sanctions.
Okay.
What are some of the sanctions? We are looking at holding on to promotion, call them delayed promotion. Otherwise, you just promote the person and sitting down there, they are not doing anything, then it's not good for us. Also, serve as a deterrent to others. That look, if you don't perform, then you will not have your promotion at the time that you have the promotion. We should let them also know that we are accountable, both downward and upward, accountable to our people. Upwardly accountable in the sense that government has, through the District Assembly Common Fund, transferred money to you. How did you use the money?
Okay.
At the local level, you are collecting property rates. You are collecting taxes from people. What are you using this money for? And so if nothing is being seen at that level, people find it very reluctant to pay. And so we need to reprimand some of these staff at the lower level. That is the last 10 assemblies who, that is from 251 to 260. They will be reprimanded. Possibly if the council approves.
Okay.
Some could even be suspended.
All right. Doc, just this quick one before I go to Dr. Letcher. So do you do your assessment also based on available resources? And are there any recommendations that you make to government? For example, in some of the MMDAs you visit, you realize that, like Dr. Letcher said, their work could be improved if they had A, B, C, D. Do you make any recommendations to government?
Yes. When it comes out that is a major challenge, definitely we'll do that. But look at this. Volta becoming first as far as the RCCs are concerned. If it were only for resources, can you match Greater Accra, Ashanti region with Volta? So it tells you that it's not only the availability of the resources. Some could have the resource, even allowing the staff. I'm coming to that. Allowing even the staff to go monitor. It becomes a challenge. So for me, yes, the resources are important, but it's not everything. It's not all that details to go.
All right, Doc, I have you hold on at this moment. Let me quickly go to Dr. Letcher. So, Dr. Letcher, we've just heard about some sanctions that are meted out to persons who, fall within the least performing MMDAs. Beyond the sanctions by the local government services after the assessment, on your own, do you do some of these assessments, and do you punish or sanction non-performing MMDAs?
Thank you very much. I think the head of service has said it is important that people who are not performing are sanctioned. Unfortunately, they are not performing. We just transfer them to another place, and then their incompetence is transferred from one assembly to the other. So we keep recycling the same people around the assembly. So it's not helping us. So there should be a way that the local government service would address that, and I know that the head of service.
But as the regional minister working with the RCC, do you have the power to do so, or even write to the head of the local government services and say, look, our own assessment has shown us that ABCD assemblies aren't working well. We recommend that they be sanctioned. Do you have the power to do that?
Yes, we have the power to do that. We have to write to the head of service, and then most of the time action is taken. But I'm worried about the transfer. I think that people should go for refresher training, and we should help them to up their game rather than just moving them from one assembly to the other. But the head of service, of course, will have no power over the MDCs. Those ones are supervised by the president himself. So we make recommendations to the president, and the president takes appropriate action. But when it comes to coordinating directors, they are under the authority of those of us at the RCC, the coordinating director here, and also the head of service. So we make recommendations to head of service, and most of the time, appropriate actions are taken.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Archibald Letcher. Let me just wrap up with you, Dr. Nana Ato Arthur. It appears that the coordinating councils for some of the new regions, like the Northeast, the Western North, and UT regions, performed abysmally. What would you say accounted for that?
Well, I wouldn't generalize it.
Okay.
If you look at the RC, Savannah region is a new region, isn't it?
Yes.
Blue East is a new region. But Savannah region was second. Ahafo is a new region. Ahafo was seventh. You see, so Western North didn't do well. OT didn't do well. But look at the Eastern region. Is it an old region? Look at Ashanti region, 12. Eastern region, 13. The 14th is Northeast, 15th Western North, and then 16th OT region. I wouldn't want to say that because they are new. So
okay.
If we're using that, then why did Savannah become second? You see? So, but let me say this. Dr. Letcher was talking about transfers.
Yes.
Within a set, let me say, we will call it posting. You can't use posting as a form of sanction. When you listen to me, I didn't add anything like posting. Okay. What we also be doing, like Dr. Letcher was trying to actually bring, we will be pairing the last 10 with the top 10, so that the top 10 will learn from the last 10 will learn from the top 10. What did they do right? And the last 10, what did they do wrong? So that the top 10 can share best practices. So going forward, we wouldn't always be having the same 10 becoming the last term. That is what we intend doing.
I appreciate your time this morning. Dr. Nanato Arthur is head of local government services. They're giving us some more details on an assessment of regional coordinating councils and MMDAs. You're watching News Desk with me, Benis
Thank you very much.
Lansa. Coming up shortly in business, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin, is calling for cool heads to prevail over the trade impasse between Ghana and Nigeria. Darrell Powell has details in a moment.